Hello, darlings. I am Cassandra. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. In this video, I'd like to do an updated review of the book called Wealth Magic by Damon. Now, I've been thinking a lot about should I do this review, right? Should I do this updated review? But okay, let me do this. I'm going to make this video. I'm going to speak from my heart. And if I decide not to publish it, then I won't. And then if I decide to take it down, I will. But I want to talk about that book because that Wealth Magic by Damon. There are some suggestions that I have, and I want to say something that I know that people are just going to think I'm weird and crazy, and so whatever. Okay, here we go. So I can't remember how long the whole program is, but it's a bit of a commitment, right? And when I completed the book, it hasn't been a year since the last time I completed it, but I remembered that so the book is about building wealth, right? And I had so much student loan debt, like $400,000 worth of student loan debt. And I really couldn't see how, in my mind, how am I going to make enough money to pay off my student loan debt? That was my process. So what I decided to do was, I did a ritual for student loan debt to be removed for everyone, like anybody who had this problem, anybody around the world. So I have a little globe here, and I like to keep this by my bed, and I like to pray for everybody in the world. I like to send love, and I like to send peace, and because I kind of felt like the debt that it wasn't just me, it was the people I had gone to school with. The interest rates were extremely high. So I felt like no matter how much money that I was able to acquire, that having this massive debt hanging over my head, how could I ever acquire? How can I get on my feet? How can I grow? And it just seems like, people use this term, throwing good money after bad money. It was just driving me crazy. So I decided to start praying and doing rituals to have student loan debt removed, dissolved for everyone who needed it. And it was like this huge big fire. I had candles, and I just did a big ritual, and I did it several times, to remove student debt for everybody who needed it, for everybody in the world. So especially I didn't want to put it specifically. I just wanted to say anybody who was struggling and suffering in student loan debt, let it be removed, because I felt that it was such a massive problem that it just earning, even if I had $1 million, 400,000, how do I get this type of money? You understand what I'm saying? So that was my focus, was on doing rituals to remove student loan debt. So I remember after, I don't know, I think I had maybe just finished doing Wealth Magic at the time, and guys, I have a lot going on, and I don't like put my personal business out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? But I think that most people would consider me not a person who, you know, who did make money. Okay. But when you have $400,000 hanging over your head and it's growing in interest every day, that's like a monkey riding your back that you can't even. And when I finished school, like I said, the payments was always bigger than my rent, and because I was a social worker making about $8 an hour, that wasn't like the smartest thing to go to school for. You got a PhD and you have all of this debt, but you have these jobs where, yes, you're helping people, but you can barely help yourself, right? So anyway, you see the scenario, and I wasn't the only person, so I decided to focus on it seems to me like that the problem was so massive that just focusing on myself wasn't going to be the best method. So anyway, this is where I focus my rituals and spells and incantations. And so about 6 months, now I'm not taking it. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not taking credit for a lot of people's student loan debts being forgiven, but I am going to say I contributed to it, and God know I contributed to it. And I can say that with pride, and I know that for a fact. And it's probably other people who were doing rituals and using their magic and calling their angels to help lift this burden as well. But let me just tell you. So after about 4 to 6 months, after I'm consistently working to have this student loan debt dissolved, forgiven, removed from, because, it's for education. People who have gone to school, who've contributed to society, you've paid your debt. I was like, I'm just calling, like, I just kind of felt like making money and trying to pay back such a massive debt that was constantly growing it just seemed like the best thing to do would be to do the student loan route. So about 4 to 6 months after I completed the ritual, my friends start calling me saying, "Guess what, Sandy? Guess what? My student loans was removed, was forgiven." Like, no way. I was like, really? And I'm just like, mine wasn't. And I was like, no way. And they were telling me, like, they were just calling me one after the other. People, like, it just seems like everybody was telling me that their student loan debt had been forgiven, but mine had not been forgiven. But it made me feel like what I was doing or what I was contributing to was working, and that was a part of, like, when you do the wealth magic, you can't tell it what to do, right? You just do the rituals. But in my spirit, what I was doing on my own was I got this humongous debt that's the most important. This is the thing that we got to take care of this. So everybody's calling me. When I say everybody, I mean all the people. It was like, "Girl, did you get your student loan?" No. I'm like, so I'm trying to figure out. So I go and I fill out the paperwork, and they say, "Oh, you 100% qualify." And you qualify, and so fill out the paperwork and everything. I mailed it in, no response. And I'm just thinking, like, why is it working for everybody but me? So then I decided, well, maybe I need to do some type of spiritual work for my ancestors. I don't want to put my business in the street, but there's just been a lot of things that have happened, like, especially, like, I would say spiritual energy that would be tied to that, right? So I said, let me do some rituals. And this is how I came up with the golden elixir bomb, where it's like I'm saturated in God's grace. And I did this for my matriarchal ancestors, for the women who had to sacrifice their what I want to say. I hate I guess the word body, but to me it's like your soul when you have to be a part of the rent payment, right? What my ancestors went through to survive, and I specifically focus on the females. And I think I told you guys in another video how my grandmother, Ida Boykin, came through in my Reiki session. Like, she came through and she embodied me, and it was amazing. It was like something like that you would see on TV that people don't believe. And there's but yeah, so she came through and she thanked me, and it was like 4 generations of women there who said that I had, that I freed them. Like, it was just a lot of spiritual trauma, right? And so I wanted to heal them because I felt that the healing had to go way back, right? So I did that, and I still couldn't, like, even though I was mailing in my paperwork, and they just kept saying that you qualify, but I don't know what was going on. So I'm just thinking, this is spiritual, and I felt like, how am I going to get out of this? Like, so long story short, after I did the spiritual elixir bomb and I worked with my ancestors, about 3 months later, I tried to send in the paperwork again because I kept saying you're qualified, but they wouldn't. It was like one day I just decided to talk to a person, and I was just like, I don't know what it is. And then I found out the glitch. So for anybody who's interested, make sure that your loans are not commercial. Make sure it's a government loan, that type of thing. And I didn't know that. It was a glitch that no one told me. But the thing that was interesting is that when I would go to Reiki, it's like they could sense that this energy was leaving my root chakra, and that it was old, and it was like cold, and they were that they were doing energetic work to move this debt. It was like I said, it wasn't just student loans, it was spiritual too. It was connected to, to all kind of stuff. So long story short, I got everything taken care of. And I think that some people will think that, listen guys, let me say this. If you decide to do wealth magic, well, first, let me just say this. My suggestion would be, guys, I love the gallery and Magic so much. I feel bad, like I'm criticizing. I'm not. This is constructive criticism. Don't be mad at me if I publish this. I think that before we do wealth magic, I think we should do protective. There should be some type of protection magic, like some type of program. And I know there's a book I think it's called Protection Magic by Damon, but I'm not talking about like, where you go and you do a ritual. I'm talking about like the wealth magic, where you know how to protect yourself. Because what I learned is that when you start working on acquiring wealth, because to me, wealth is not just about money. You have to have a certain level of self-esteem and self-respect, and but ability to protect and stand up for yourself. Like when you think about the Three Stooges, how they said they never really earned them. They didn't even know how famous they were and how they robbed them. Like TLC, we could go on and on about so many different artists who did not receive the money that they worked hard for. Even though they had fame and they were making money, people was taking their money. So to me, I feel like, and I know this is not the problem, because I think wealth magic works best for somebody who is already well protected. They already know who they are. They already are very powerful in terms of like they can defend themselves, right? And so when you receive, because I think money attracts this currency attracts other energies to it. It attracts vampires. It attracts gold diggers. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times when we're talking about protection, I'm not even talking about somebody who is trying to rob you on the street. I'm talking about somebody who you think may love you, right? And they're constantly putting you down or telling you that you're dumb or telling you that you're not talented, and you don't even have the confidence to leave that person. I think to me that affects your money. Being in a toxic relationship, I think people trying to use you, trying to take advantage of your resources, of your time. I found that it just seems like there were times, it seems like when I was making money and outside of my job, this is when people always need a favor. They want something from you. It just seems like when you are on this journey to building wealth, I know you can't listen. That's why I didn't even want to bring it up, because I know you're probably thinking, look, that's not my job. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to, if you're trying to build money, if you can't keep it, if you can't build the wealth that we're giving you, that's not our problem. I get it, right? Because to me, the magic is safe in the terms of there's a lot of protection in terms of the magic to me. But I feel like what causes or contributes to people not acquiring wealth, it's not the entities and the spirits and the beings from another planet. It is the people in your environment. Like, it seems like, your boss need more from you. I found that, somebody who was supposed to, love you, right? Now they're like jealous of you, or they want to compete with you. Like, I don't know. I guess you can't solve all the problems, but I feel like as a person who loved the book, who went through the program, I'm taking, listen guys, I'm going to tell you this straight up. I feel like the book was extremely successful for me, because there were just some things there was just so many things that needed to be cleared from my path, right? Because anything that would have come to me would have been taken from me. So, and then I'm taking credit. I'm taking at least 1% credit of the student loans that have been dismissed, forgiven, because I did some serious work for that. And as a part of the Wealth Magic program for Cassandra. So, now, being in toxic relationships, the whole jealousy and frenemies and people coming for you, I don't know if there's any magic for that. Maybe there is no magic for that, right? So that's one thing. I think there should be a program on how to protect yourself, when you're doing tarot readings, the whole program should be it should be a primer to wealth, is protection, and like taking you through steps like protection you didn't even know. And I think when you're dealing with people, there should be some type of protection in terms of discernment, and even warning that once you get on this journey and you start believing in yourself and you start elevating yourself, You know, maybe I don't remember reading anything like that because he could have talked about it. But you can lose friends, or they're just, yeah. This can have an impact on your relationships, because a lot of your relationships are based on the psychology of who you are at that moment. But when you're elevating yourself, you start to change. And if you are standing up for yourself, and if you are being efficient, sometimes you lose those relationships. And I think this is why a lot of people remain where they are, because it's, you know, that saying is lonely at the top. Like, why would I want to just, you know, give up all my friends and give up the life that I know? Yes, I'll have money, but I won't have I won't have anybody else. I won't have my lover. Like, you will see that the people in your life, to me, and the energy and how they respond to you, how it all changes. And I really, it had a really big impact on my friendships. I'm not gonna lie about that. So that's one aspect of it. And I think the other thing, now I don't know, like, again, it's been a while since I read the book, and I did, you know, I completed it, is I think that when we're talking about wealth magic, especially if someone is, depending on where the person is financially when they do the book, money can come in so many different ways okay. Like, if you're doing wealth magic, let's say, and you come from a family where, like I said, it depends on what's going on in your family, but I want to say it's like, oh, I don't want to tell all my, you know, sometimes it comes to the people closest to you. Like, you will know when you do a wealth magic, and money to me is like a currency. It's like, you know, it's like water or whatever. You're opening up these pathways for wealth to come to you. And you may notice that there are people around you that are getting promotions, they're getting homes, they're moving up, and you're like, this is happening to everybody but me. Yep. And I really believe, because we have these 7 energetic bodies, you know, we have, and they say our aura is like, I think it's like 6 feet circumference. So imagine, like, there's a energetic body of you that's maybe this, I think it's 6 to 9 feet, right? That circles you. That's your energy, right? And so this is how we interact on a spiritual level with the people. So the people that are around us, so you're doing your wealth magic, but you may have all these blockages in your root chakra, and you're not healed, right? But you're bringing all of these blessings to the people around you. Your magic is working, and you may have to do so much healing in order for you to be able to benefit from the magic that you're doing. I can tell you that from personal experience, okay? And this is why I started working deeply on my root chakra, on my family trauma, because I noticed immediately that people around me were just bawling. And it wasn't before I started doing it, and it was once they were in my energy field. So I think that's another thing. And one more thing is, I think that the primer, like I said, a primer on protection, about discernment, and I think it's, you know, discernment about the people that you allow in your life, looking at how this, when you're looking to elevate your life, and how it impacts the people around you, and then it may have a negative impact on your psychological will to want to continue, when you're like, oh my God, I'm losing my spouse, I'm losing my friends. I don't know if you can do anything about that, but I do as a person who has gone through it, I just thought I would suggest that, or at least discuss it. And or maybe you did, maybe I forgot. And then the other thing and is I think there should be a component, and maybe there is, because it's been a while now, about hidden talents and abilities. Like I think
the name of the book is called Magic or Riches by Damon Brand. There is a ritual to help you discover your hidden talents, and also techniques on how to increase sales and other ways to increase your money.
But something where people can, because the magic already exists, but if there is something that focuses on helping people kind of find their hidden talents and abilities, or their hidden gifts, or I don't know, because one of the things I would tell people to do is when you start the Wealth Magic program, and I would tell you, now I started making dolls long before I ever heard for any magic, right? But there was a ritual on hidden talents, and I can't think of the book by Damon Brand, but I don't know if it's Money Magic or I can't remember, but when I did the ritual is when I sold my first doll pattern. I didn't even know I had the talent or ability to actually make a pattern and write the instructions and upload it to my Etsy shop. And I created like several doll patterns from doing the rituals in that book. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it, but I'm probably listed in the description box. So I think I would tell people, one of the things that I'm really good at is, no matter how crazy an idea is, I'm always willing to explore it. Not when I say crazy, I don't mean like, it's artistic. Like if when I get an idea, half of the time, guys, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm writing. I don't know what's going on. But it's like there's an energy that flows through me, and I'll just sketch it. I'll write it. And sometimes they are really bomb ideas. Some things I end up like, what is this? Yeah, right? But you can't find your hidden gifts and talents if you are afraid of looking silly or afraid of making mistakes. So protection, number one, primer, even like just discussing, like, I don't know. I just feel like I would, if there is a book, a program like Wealth Magic on protection, I would do it tonight. I just feel like there's just not enough protection when you are, when you work in magic. Even though there are angels, and even though there's specific, like for the home and for this and that, I still feel like I wish there was just a general. And I do the sword what do you call it, the banishing, the sword banishing. I do it like sometimes 3 or 4 times a day, and that is the holy truth. But I still feel like there should and I guess I don't know, maybe I just got too many issues. Right? Maybe I just got too many issues because the book Protection Magic, it does have a master ritual that I've done twice. You know what I mean? I met Clonic, the demon of wealth, doing the rituals for Wealth Magic, and I have a whole series on my YouTube channel that from the downloads that I received. But I'm going to tell you one thing that was so cool. Now I know people are like, oh my god, is he a demon? I don't want to get into all that, but I'll tell you this. The lessons that Clonic taught me was about pricing and how you see yourself, the difference between like a Lamborghini and a Ford Focus. They both would drive you to a certain spot, finding the right customer for the type of work that you do. One of the things that he told me to do was I changed the price of a Clonic doll I doubled it, and then I sold 2 like within the I don't want to say within 2 weeks, or maybe a week apart. It wasn't that far apart. All because Clonic told me to do it, and it worked. So he was telling me the importance of valuing your time. Like, if you're going to be the kind of person who's going to put, you know, like, cause I'm very, like, my dolls have, like, you know, details, and I could spend 30 minutes just making a single pair of lips, and I paint the eyes, and you know, and it's like, and then you're trying to sell it to a person who doesn't even appreciate the time that you've put into making this. So there were a lot of things I learned about valuing myself, about pricing, about money, about people, because I was I tuned in to the messages. Like, you'll have this exercise that you'll do with it, but Clonic literally, I hate the word literally, but how do I say this? I guess I'm just trying to say that I had a personal relationship where I received a lot of messages, and I, you know, of course I made my version of him, which doesn't mean that is the entirety of who this ancient being is. But if you want to, the series is on my channel, so if you want to check it out. But that was all a result of the Wealth Magic ritual, completing the Wealth Magic program as well. So anyway, so just, that would just be my suggestion, and to make sure that, you know, that people know that when wealth come to them, it's going to come to them in the way that they most need to help elevate them. I really hope this video helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you, darlings, in the next video.